Hey.
All right.
Oh no. Try not to hit play twice here. Skip is back from vacation, folks. I think it's a
Yes.
little that's that far off look in you see in his eye of him actually relaxed.
Yeah. I don't know about relaxed. I'm looking at a solid day of meetings. Just one
That's
big
okay.
blue bar for the whole day.
That's okay. Solid day means is good. Catching up.
Yep.
At least they're not on my calendar anymore. So anybody, I don't know who else is out there watching. Usually people are on LinkedIn here. So welcome to the Thursday. We're of December. We're almost done with the year. I think we've got like one more community update and then we take a break for a couple weeks. Maybe I'll put up a pre-recorded video of a Christmas story or something and everybody can watch that while drinking eggnog.
There we go. We ran into copyright infringements. We put up Die Hard.
Probably not, but I bet you we get a lot of positive feedback.
We call that our Yippee-ki-yay session.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I always look at my event calendar and I'm like, okay, what am I talking about this week? Who am I reaching out to? And this week I was like, you know what? I liked our podcast last week. So we're going to go through the 3 virtues here over the next couple weeks. And it's laziness, hubris, and impatience. And this Monday was laziness. And there are a few people or few careers that exemplify laziness more than engineering, because an engineer will spend 8 hours working on a script to save him 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that that's just dumb. And but if he ever needs to do that thing again, he's got the script, which he'll never be able to find or get to work properly again.
Yes.
But it's there.
Yep.
So,
well, how many of those things do when you go to script it, automate it, make it lazy? How many times do you go down that path and you uncover areas that you never even thought of? We would, if I implemented this, it would break these 14 things. I need to fix that. And that kind of deep dive into, hey, I'm gonna, make myself lazy can actually produce a lot of work, but it is really productive stuff. It's things that you might not have discovered until you were in that reactive firefighting mode. So, one of the tertiary values of laziness is proactiveness. Sounds really weird. My mom would just slap me up about the side of the head, but I think that it's actually, a really valuable exercise to go through.
Yeah. So, I mean, laziness is something that helps you, when properly applied, be more efficient as a company. And, we talked the last couple of weeks about how we should be preparing for next year by using the lessons learned from this year, right? And what we mean by that is okay, what did you miss this year? What didn't you get done this year? And what do you need to do next year? So be lazy right now. Be like, I'm not going to do any more meetings for the rest of the year. I'm going to push them off to January 15th. That's what we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Push meetings off into January now. Stop trying to get everything done last minute. But more importantly, build a cadence next year that you don't have to think about. Something like, I'm going to meet with my top 5 clients the first week of every quarter. It's easy to say. Okay, now go over to your calendar, put something on your calendar for the first week of every reminder on that Monday to reach out to your clients and, hey, we need to meet this week. Or, 2 weeks before that, and then set the reminder for every 3 months. That's it. Be lazy. If you're using our software, put it in your playbook if it's not there already. That's all you got to do. Put it in the playbook. Skip will help you.
Absolutely.
I mean, all you have to do is, it's like, what new event? What's the process there, Skip?
Yeah. Well, you just update the playbook, or you've got a playbook running and you want to add something new to it. You can call custom plays, call an audible. And once a playbook's already applied, you can add something to it. So you're not locked into this really rigid sort of structure. And that's a really important element here, is have a plan, but don't feel like you have to follow it blindly. if things aren't working, let's change them. If we need to add something to this one client to make them successful, that's okay. Add it, but be intentional. Don't say, all right, I'll add that when I think it's necessary. No, decide now when this is going to be necessary so that you can be lazy. And someone can come back and say, hey, are we doing this? Like, yeah, I've already got that taken care of, right? I've already put that on the calendar. We're already going to talk about that next month. Get that mapped out so that you can step back.
Yeah. And that there's a reason why we chose not to have the calendar sync. I mean, you can sync the calendar off the playbook if you really want to push all events to calendar. If I remember right, that's under playbooks. And then there's a
push them all calendar. Out there. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. I'd recommend using the widget that brings up which plays are coming up like this week and add the appropriate ones. Like, you know what? I really don't need to do that one with a client this month. I'm going to go ahead and bypass that this time. No problem. And go down your list and choose the ones that you want to do. The good thing is you're being reminded to do these things. Maybe you just met with your dentist office last week because there's some event came up. I'm not going to go ahead and do a double booking. Or maybe you met with them last week on an operational item and you haven't talked to them about strategy, like what's coming up this year. And this would be a good time to do a phone call, change the meeting. But at least like you've got a cadence. So set up a regular schedule that you can be reminded of so that when you get to be busy, you're not forgetting your favorite clients. You're not forgetting the clients that you want to try to get to be moved to a new plan this year. So be lazy and just set those reminders and set them to recurring. And you're going to see yourself increase in revenue just because you're simply meeting with people or reminded, oh yeah, Bob's law office, I need to reach out to this week. I haven't talked to them in 6 months. And then you reach out to them and turns out, oh yeah, we've been meaning to call you. Just our lives gotten busy too. Your clients have the same issue you do. So if you set the reminders on a steady cadence, you can break that up and start closing deals faster or discover things that they've been meaning to talk to you about.
Well, and here's an idea too on, discovering those items that you need to run out with. Take a look now at your B segment clients. All right. I really like this group. Your middle of the road sort of clients. They don't necessarily write you the biggest check. All right. And what you do with them is not necessarily so grandiose. But if you dive into your finances, more often than not, those B segment clients have a higher margin than your other groups. Right? So that's an interesting part for me. I'm not the business guy, but high margin sounds great, right? So look at what is going well with those clients. Look back, over this last year, and maybe some of them didn't go well, but some of them did. And pull those things out and said, why did this go well? What is the element in here that made this a really good engagement? Something that we sold more product, or we fixed a lot of problems. We headed off a lot of problems by doing this. All right. Yep. Identify the element that was in there. Well, now you have a play to run next year with your clients. Oh yeah. Every other month, I need to sit down and review this whatever with my clients to make sure we're on track. If that's what you need to do, build a play for that and run that. That was a profitable engagement activity that happened last year. Make that a repeatable process so that you get a repeat in that high margin activity going forward.
Yes. And that, speaking of those mid-level clients, those B-level clients, like I, as a CIO, saw more revenue generated from those than I did the high levels because the high levels were like, okay, I can count on that. But like there's some of those B's and those C's who are break fix, who, if given the right conversation, can be moved into a higher level engagement. They just haven't had the right conversation yet. Like with me, you guys have heard my story over and over again about how I would turn schools into 8,000 MRR clients, 10,000 MRR clients, because I had the right conversation with them. That rather than thinking of it as terms of an extra expense, look at it as a cost savings because you don't need as many staff now. Or you're able to provide extra services for students. And it's all about providing business value rather than providing technical value.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's watching out there. You say hi if you're out there. If you're on LinkedIn, I can't see you. If you're on Facebook, I can. It's the weirdest thing. So the peanut gallery is awfully quiet today. They're probably all working on their last end of the year goals, which I told them, hey, push it off in January. Be quiet.
They're unboxing everything they bought on Cyber Monday. So
oh yeah, I didn't buy anything on Cyber Monday this year.
I did a little bit.
Eyeballing that Oculus 3 though. I'm very tempted. I'm so tempted. Yeah. Gave one away at IT Nation, and I'm thinking, man, I need to go to video game console. Although I did see, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves in Christmas gift ideas. There's a new, do you remember light gun games like Duck Hunt?
Oh yeah, I love Duck Hunt.
So there's a new console out this year, kind of an independent console, where you can buy that system for your home TV. Because the reason why it no longer works is because it involved a delay timing hack with your CRT. Nobody has CRTs anymore, so we can't use light guns.
Yep.
Well, this new company came out. It's like $300 for the system, but like you get all the shooters, Time Cop and Point Blank and Duck Hunt, all these like great games. And I'm like, man, I loved those as a Midwesterner. I didn't have to reload. I didn't have to go out and buy ammo.
Yeah, that was it.
And so I've been thinking about getting one of those, Skip.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I like those.
So we talked through.
Oh, I had an idea here on those.
No.
I'm still stuck on those mid, B segment clients. I had one. So you look at those guys and you think, hey, they're kind of a small shop. They're already paying, I think all they can afford in technology dollars. And that you may be right, but there are situations that you're not aware of. You're not running their business. You don't know where things are going. So the scenario I had was we had a kind of a large company reach out to us and buy our backup service, right? And the odd part about this was these folks had a well-developed IT team. And I was like, well, I mean, you got guys coming, you already have a skill set in this. Why are you coming to us? And they needed a line of separation. It was important to them, and they needed this element. So while it wouldn't seem like something they would do, they did anyway because of their business drivers. And you may run into situations like that where you think, oh, my client's already paying me $2,500 a month. They're not that big a company. I don't think that, I can sell them anything else. Well, what if you could displace, or they had an employee leave, and now you can take the place of that HR cost. They've got money that's opened up. We have a technology solution that would fit it. You can help out, and now you get access to those funds. So there's a lot of scenarios that can exist. So don't write off those clients that you think they're already spending all they'll ever spend. That might not be the case at all. You don't know their business. So stay in touch. It might not happen, but if you don't stay close with them, if you're not part of their business decision, you're probably never going to get those ones that do happen from time to time. So don't disregard your B segment clients.
The B listers are just as important. As a guy who loves B movies, there's some great B movies out there that are discounted because they don't make the big banners.
Well, and I've talked to several MSP owners that they've enjoyed those big paychecks that come in, that they've enjoyed those big projects that come in, all the good things that come with those is really nice, but there can be a lot of pressure that comes with those big paychecks. If you've got a client who is a significant portion of your monthly recurring revenue, what happens if something causes that client to go away? What's that going to do? Are you going to be able to make payroll?
I've been there.
Yeah. So would you rather have one really huge client that pays you tons of money, or 10 smaller clients that you could afford to, take the bump if one or two of them left? There's several ways to go at it. So capitalizing on that high margin activity, whether it's big, medium, or small, it doesn't really matter. I really try to zero in on what are high margin activities. Yes, there's going to be a lot of the things we need to do, but if we're going to start somewhere, let's start with something that makes us a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think that's bullet 3, right? On our community update here. So we have, make a cadence for next year. Just put it in place. Be lazy. Just put it in place. Make yourself a reminder every 3 months to touch base with these people. Put it in your playbook to go and trade hardware for service is one of the tips I put on here to remind people to do every year. It's on our agenda. It's a profitability win-win. What do you call it? Trading dimes for dollars, Skip?
Yep.
Is that you're saying? The concept there being is that you can make what, $20 on a server. Let's say you charge double for your devices. You got $1,000 PC. You're charging your client $2,000 for it. Okay, you just made $1,000. Great. That was a one-time only fee. Okay. Let's instead say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to add one of our gold level support onto your PCs at $50 a PC. And if anything breaks, we will fix it. Okay. Let's say they have 5 PCs in that shop. That's $250 a month. Do your math. That's $3,000 recurring you just made. No need to even think about what else is going to go on. Now, occasionally there's going to be a hit. Somebody's going to say, I need a new hard drive. Okay, you're out $30 and a service call, which you would have had to do anyways. So trading those dimes for dollars, like, running on these great pieces of hardware and offering up a warranty service where you cover the warranty, and you just made a lot more money. So selling hardware, yes, you can make money on that game, but eventually your client's going to go, why am I paying $2,000 for this PC I can buy for $600 on Amazon right now?
Yeah.
And then you're going to get into that fight. If you're in that fight, can't help you. Yeah. What I can help you with is say, sell them the $600 PC and then warranty the crap out of it with your warranty. Yeah. And don't call it a warranty, call it gold level support, call it white glove service. You guys have 1,001 different ways to call support, that premium support.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you buy a PC from me and you buy my platinum support, you know what I'm going to do? No matter what happens to that PC, I'm going to cover it.
Yeah.
As long as you have this support contract with me. And now you're making service dollars rather than hardware dollars. CapEx versus OpEx.
OpEx is good stuff. And this idea and kind of even the extreme versions of it is becoming a bit more commonplace. So it used to be really rare that you would find an IT shop that didn't sell anything. Right? They've always been around, but it was just the really odd one. I have talked with many MSPs today, and they're like, we don't sell any more hardware. We're done. We tell our clients, go here. We recommend this place. And if you want specs, we'll give you, the required specs, but we're not selling any hardware. Now, I don't know. I'm a bit opportunistic. I want at least a little bit of that, or I want some control is probably the bigger area there. But being able to get out of this, I've got to sell a physical asset to make any money sort of mentality, I think is a really, really good move for MSPs. And yes, be a part of that process. I'd say that was wherever that physical asset comes from, you should be a part of the process, but don't wrap your business profitability around whatever margin you're going to be able to get on that, because that's just not a good way to go.
I'm going to throw it out there. Like, does anybody out there do their own warranties? Like their own, like, hey, screw it. I'm not paying Dell for a warranty or HP or Lenovo. And if you do, like, offer your advice on this thread, because in the corporate world, we'd been doing this forever. Like, and that was when I exited the corporate world. We stopped doing warranties because they were just a waste of money. And so it was like when we needed to replace a Dell laptop, we just made sure all of our Dell laptops were the same. And so you tell your client, hey, if you buy I'm going to date myself here, a D800 or whatever it is, whatever the latest model is that you support, be like, I keep 4 D800s in my closet at all times as loaners or traders or whatever you call it. Then as long as you tell your client, I don't care if you buy your own D800, you just have to buy a D800. And when yours dies, I will make sure I support it. Create some policies around this. Spend Christmas and give it some thought. Think through, how many warranty calls have you made this last year to Dell, Lenovo, or your major manufacturers? Now, firewalls are a whole different deal, right? Let's put those on the table for now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to PCs and user devices,
Mm.
how many actual warranty calls have you made this year? And how many PCs are you supporting?
Mhm.
Now, take all those PCs and consider about $50 a year per PC for your warranty, if you look at your math, and then say, what if I would have had been charging warranties for all those PCs I support and not sold, and just with the 90-day warranty from Dell, the
Yeah.
built-in one, and I will take care of the rest. Can you honestly tell me that you guys can't trade out or fix any single device or item on any of those PCs, laptops, cameras, phones, whatever it is on the end? There's none of them that you can't fix.
No.
Now, firewalls are a different deal because they're unless you're running a white box, unless you're running like PF.
They're an evergreen asset. So
Yeah.
you're always pumping more into it.
I'm telling you, this is why I'm a big fan of things like PF Sense, guys. If you don't know anything about PF Sense, look at like Tom Lawrence's channel. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff there. That is a firewall that never will go out of style. It's on like 20 years now, and it's a great piece of hardware. And you just upgrade the device yourself. Firewall dies, build a new one like seconds.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's engineer Adam going off on a tangent.
Well, I did this actually years ago with phone systems. So working with a Cisco partner, we were installing Call Manager like crazy. We were literally rolling out thousands of phones a year. And of course, Cisco is wanting us to sell SmartNet, right? I mean, they're always banging down your door, selling more SmartNet. And we'd go talk to our clients about it, and they'd look at it and go, really, do I need to? And we had some sales staff that could, sell that, but others were looking at it and everyone was going, these phones are really rock solid. I mean, how many of you have a 7941 phone or 7940 even that's still up and running? And I see them all the time at, different retail places. You go and you look in the bag and you go, oh, I recognize that phone. That thing came out 15 years ago. So the phones were never dying. So we quit selling SmartNet in many cases. And we had instead a telephony support feature that we would add on to their contracts. And we made those service dollars. We didn't send that money on to Cisco. So why wouldn't you do that? If you've got the opportunity, rather than passing money along to someone, why don't you just take that money? It's there on the table. You can hand it off to your vendors, or you can put it in your bank account. The choice is yours.
There's a reason why the major manufacturers push for warranty so hard. And it's not to save you money or time. It is a cash cow.
Yes.
So when you're reviewing your year, when you're planning out your 2024, give it some thought. Trade hardware for service. The hardware is so cheap these days, guys. It's so cheap. Your service is valuable. Yes. Sell your service. Heck, if you want to charge enough for your service, throw in a free PC. Hey, I will come support your PC. $1,000 a month. I will give you a PC for free if you sign up for the service. Yep. It's always a numbers game. And so, it'd be surprising how often people will pick you up on those. People want simplicity. They want ease of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you know what, you Mac user, I will give you the best iPhone every year. All you have to do is sign up for the service. And it makes your life easier because it's always covered. So anyways, the other thing I want to talk about, we kind of skipped over, we're getting a little bit late in the meeting here, is using proposals to increase client confidence. So when you've got a cadence going on and you're trading harder for service and you got somebody on the line, like in a meeting that is like, oh my gosh, I'm all on board with that. What do you want to do for that? When can we start that? Or in the meeting, they're talking. Let me show you over here real quick. A quick little trip for you guys in our tool. Oh man, I swear the way that StreamYard shares is just clunky. So you come over here, you're in your view, and you're meeting with a client. You go down to your client, and you're talking to them about the QBR process, or maybe you're just talking to them about operations and how things are going. You're reviewing tickets, and I logged out because I rebooted my machine. All right. So, anyways, I'll wing it then. So go into your proposals area, click new proposal, and then add the line item right there, right then. Just put it in there. And you're going to have a good time because now the client, you can send it to the client before the end of the meeting. They can e-approve it, and now it's on schedule for June of next year.
Yeah.
Now you don't worry about it until next year.
Really important now. So there are 3 ways to get items on the proposal. You can just add them manually. They get there from the project roadmap. We can also do it from the budgeting widget as well. But the really valuable portion of that proposal is you send it out, we get an approval or a rejection on that. And in our next engagement, we're able to see all of that. So all that work that you do before an engagement going, all right, did they ever agree to this or not? Did they call us back? I got to check my voicemails. Is there an email? Did they tell the engineer to tell me? There's this whole journey, this investigative, trend of, figure out, did the client say yes or no? All right. Once they approve or disapprove that, you're going to know immediately. It's going to be right there on your roadmap. And so now your next engagement, you don't have to talk about the things that have already been approved. All right. Let's move on to the next item. Let's quit talking about the past. Let's talk about the future. And those proposals will make that super easy.
Yeah. And so it's all about be lazy. Don't try to overthink it. Get out of your head for a minute and give yourself permission to push things off. So when a client says, "Oh man, I would love to engage with that new service you have for PCs," you're going to help them. Like, hey, you know what? Every time a PC breaks down, I'm on it. You don't ever have to worry about buying a new hard drive. You don't have to worry about buying a warranty, and it's going to lower the cost of your PCs down. It's also going to make a better engagement for us, as well as you're going to have quicker fixes because I'm going to keep PCs on site or laptops on site. Having a planning process where you come out there and you do a cadence with them is also going to help you increase profits. You're going to meet with them regularly so they don't have to wait. Oh yeah, I forgot I was going to talk to you about that. It's been on my plate. I just haven't had time. Having that cadence gets that meeting so that they can now say, oh yeah, Larry needs a new PC. Susan needs a new computer. We need to talk to you about the South location we have. Be lazy because now you've given yourself permission to have a quick little 15-minute phone call. Hey, how are things going? Have a cup of coffee with them. Following your proposals. Oh, look, I've got a project that was approved coming up in June. I just need to work it now. Call them back up. Hey, I'm going to kick off that project we talked about. Are you good? And like, oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, come on in on Monday and we'll talk it through.
Yep.
Profitability. Yeah, trade hardware for service. Stop selling PCs. Stop selling phones. Stop selling gadgets. Start selling your time. And that is where the margin is. And lastly, Christmas ideas for clients. So my favorite, like I'm going to speak from the heart from a corporate person who like, so I'm working in a corporate office. I've got a vendor, and as long as you stay under the $500 limit, I'm pretty happy. And what I want is I want cookies and food. And like getting some of the higher end like bakery stuff, always a hit. Always love and appreciate it. So in Lincoln, Nebraska here, we have something called the Warm Cookie. I'm guessing it's a chain around the United States. If anybody can tell me, I don't know. But you can say for $20, you can send these cookies like the size of your head, like a box of them to your client. And you just tell them like, hey, at 1 o'clock, do this. And then they will drive around town and deliver warm cookies to your people. Yep. Those are so appreciated by corporate clients. The little tins of the shortbread cookies.
Oh yeah.
Those are kind of appreciated. They're nice. They're great to mail long distance. So if you need to order a bunch of tins and send them out, they're kind of appreciated. People put them in the break room and they put a little thank you note on them, or like put your company's logo on them. They're great. But something custom baked goods are always the number one item at clients. And you're going to want to buy swag for them. You're going to want to send them different things. But when it comes to corporate clients, you have to stay under the $500 limit because otherwise it's considered a bribe, especially your government contractors. And some of them have $250 limits. Yep. But sending them baked goods is usually considered a good act of faith. Hey, and then you have that sugar high, like there's that episode of Seinfeld where they all got addicted to the sugar Elaine got addicted to sugar in the afternoon. So you
Yep.
send them cookies on a regular basis. Now they're addicted to the sugar rush and they can't get rid of you as a vendor because the next vendor is not going to bring them cookies.
Right.
But Christmas wise, yes, cookies, fresh coffee, things like that are usually appreciated as client thank you gifts. And they're usually pretty cheap. $25 for us in here in Lincoln, the warm cookie, and you just became a hero.
Yep.
And I remember I sent some to my wife's office at the VA just as it was an anniversary present. And she's like, this was the best day. I'm like, it's just cookies, man.
Don't underestimate food. So working for an oil and gas company, and there's a lot of money involved in some of these things. So scale, doesn't always apply here. But we had one vendor who every quarter would show up and would essentially make breakfast for the entire office. I mean, they'd put out this smorgasbord of food, and we all knew it was coming. And we would find people every once in a while who actually did work with that vendor. And we're like, I have no idea what's going on, but whatever you do, don't quit buying things from that vendor. Right. And so it was a really weird scenario, but I mean, that one vendor got the entire division engaged and supporting them. So there's a lot to be said for providing food to your clients.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way we're hardwired to do this. And so my number one recommendation every year is cookies. If you want to get them something like a physical, especially for cybersecurity awareness, I'm a huge fan of coasters. Coasters sit on a desk and they sit there all year long. And then every year you get them a new one.
Yep.
And so you look around your desk, you're going to find coasters from different people that are just sitting there and you remember them. You may not have done business with them in 10 years, but you still have their coaster, especially those sandstone ones. Those are really nice. Gifts for your people, your employees. A lot of people really like just cash, but if you want something a little more personal that they can have, or something that will make them hero, if they have kids, get them a PlayStation. Get them a coffee. We love coffee machines here at Humanize IT. The nice
love our coffee
machines. Like having we have these. If you have a coffee friend or coffee employee, maybe they work out of their house and they do house calls, get them like a Seiko Pico Bistro or the Philips mini espressos that automatically make a good cup of coffee. Not like anything crazy, but like a good solid, like for me, cafe crema with a nice top on it from fresh beans. They're like $800, but so worth it. And your employees feel appreciated because now, maybe they're working from home, but get that the fresh cup of coffee, and you're saving them like $5 from a Starbucks. So that's your higher end employee thank you gifts. And then, for your client gifts, food. Everything you see centers around food. Minimizing clutter and things that are generally well liked across the board.
Yep.
Doing things like this show your clients that you are more than just an MSP. These nice human thank you gifts. Things that say, I care, I am here, I'm great to do business with you. Let's kick off next year. And maybe inside that box of cookies, put a reminder, hey, sign up for your QBR in January.
There we go.
I'll bring more cookies.
That's a good
all right. Well, any final tips, Skip? We have like one more meeting before the end of the year starts.
We've talked about food so much. I got to go get something to eat now. Let's wrap it
up. All right. We'll see everybody later. Thank you. Looks like Richard, Mike, and Paul all commented on our thread. Still says no one attended from LinkedIn. I thank you, StreamYard. You guys have all a great week. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Oh, wait, I didn't have it up. I'm dropping the ball here.